What's up, everyone? How is it going today? Got a few cool trade ideas for today, actually. We've got some earnings to talk about. We've got a trade on PENN to talk about, which is PENN National Gaming. I don't know if you guys heard about the little scandal with Dave Portnoy's sex tape and all that stuff. But we're going to talk about a trade idea for that. A couple things I've noticed in the past when news like this comes out. And we'll talk about a few trade ideas for it. And then I believe we had one or two more things as well. Let me just pull up my Discord here. A couple guys in the group were chatting. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Snap and CCL are trending as well. So we'll take a look at what's going on around those companies. And that's really what it's going to be today, right? 4 trades that we're going to look at. But to start off, I wanted to just give a shout out to anyone in the group who is still holding the GSX trade. Vols got crushed, guys. Vols are just getting absolutely smoked on the 1 year here. Right, implied vols now down at 104. Right, we sold up at 122. Unbelievably big trade, way bigger than any of the other ones, to be honest. Like for the other ones in that basket, TME, Disca, this one definitely takes the cake as the biggest trade. It had a little bit more risk associated with it. We all know about the scandals going on around GSX, but vols just got crushed. It was an awesome trade. Really, really profitable. So congrats. I think some of the guys are still hodling it. And we can chat later on about if we should be getting out now. I think vols could still be dropping a little bit more. So it may not be time to get out just yet. Van, what's going on? Just so you know, Van, and for anyone else who's maybe new on this stream, my name is Sean Ryan. I'm co-founder of Predicting Alpha, and we run this morning stream 5 days a week, Monday to Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we do on this stream is we break down trade ideas from a quantitative perspective. So we try to put evidence to ideas. I look out at the market, try to find opportunities, look at what other people are looking at, help you break down your ideas, but from a quantitative perspective. And when I say that, what I mean is I don't mean AI or algos or any of that type of stuff. I simply mean looking at the numbers and trying to see if they support our ideas, right? Or is there a way we can take advantage of what we're seeing in the options market to structure out a trade? So feel free to ask questions or share a trade idea that you want me to review with you. I'm more than happy to do it. Thanks a lot, Justin. Thank you, man. Justin Roth, what's going on? So congrats to everyone who took this GSX trade. This was awesome. This was just absolutely awesome. Now let's talk about PENN. What's going on over there? All right. Dave Portnoy brushes off sex tape leak causing PENN stock to dip. Are you kidding me? Right. So, this is one of those things. It's sort of like an Elon Musk-esque thing, right? Elon Musk comes out and gives some information. One second. Let me just mute this. It's buzzing like crazy. Elon Musk comes out, says something vulgar or, something that can cause the stock to move. And guess what happens? The stock starts moving, right? Comes out and says something about Dogecoin. Dogecoin gets pumped. Trump comes out and says something maybe unrelated to stocks, but about a certain company, and the stock moves like crazy. Well, when these things happen, does anything fundamentally change in the company? Right? Or is this some sort of market reaction to the news? Right? We look at, what does Dave Portnoy having a sex tape have to do with PENN Gaming? Doesn't really have anything to do with it if you really think about it, right? Like, it's just it's some boomer reaction to the internet prying into people's lives, right? And he kind of says it here, right? He's like, PENN's dropping because I have a sex tape. Are you kidding me? PS, it's a federal crime to watch it. Double PS, who cares, right? And that's kind of what I'm thinking as well, right? Who really cares about this? And when the stock took a dip, well, maybe this is an opportunity to come in and buy, right? We go to PENN here. Thanks, Daniel. Ned, thanks, man. My birthday was like yesterday or 2 days ago or something, but I appreciate the belated birthday wishes. So for PENN Gaming here, we're seeing like, it's not it's changed a little bit. We were seeing some, what should we call it? We were seeing some call skew over the last couple of days. And so in that time period, it would have been worth definitely taking advantage of it. But what might be worth structuring out now is some sort of like bull put spread, right? Where maybe we sell the at the money puts and buy some out of the money puts as a hedge, right? And the reason is we have two things that we want to take advantage of here, right? We probably want to bet the stock will go back up a little bit, right? But we also want to bet that the skew is mispriced, right? It was a lot better the other day. Let's take a look at what the skew looked like. Right? It was a lot better before, but now it's not as great. But there's still a trade there. We can do some sort of bull put spread, take advantage of the skew, and express that directional bet, right? It looks like it's flattened out today. Let's get the real-time price right here. Right, it's bouncing back a tiny bit. It'd be worth playing around and seeing what you could price out on a little bit of a bullish bet here. Right, I think that's not a terrible idea. So that's the idea for PENN, right? We want to look for where the market's maybe being inefficient or irrational, or where we disagree with them on something that we're seeing. And I think this is a pretty easy opportunity to see where we're disagreeing. So Janardan's asking, what is the skew in short? So the skew is basically when we're looking at an option chain, right? You know how you have different expiries, and then within each expiry, you have different strikes. Well, the way you can think about it is each of these different lines is a different strike, is a different expiry, right? So we have the 10-day expiry, 30-day expiry, and 90-day expiry. And let's say we just look at the 10-day here. Each of these dots represents different strikes within it. So what we're looking at is, where is the supply and demand for each expiry? Is it more on the call side or more on the put side? Because if it's more on the call side, let's say, well, maybe that tells us that more people are buying up calls and maybe they're pricing in some sort of move to the upside. Or if on the put side, they're pricing in some sort of risk or move to the downside. Right, let me show you an example here. Right? If we go to SPY, we see that there's put skew. Right, so let's just look at the 90-day here, let's say. So on the right, so the way it is like this. This dot here is at the money. Okay. This dot here is the out of the money puts. This dot here is the out of the money calls. And then these dots are just like way out of the money. Right? These are the delta fives. So you can see here that the out of the money calls are cheaper than the at the monies, which are cheaper than the out of the money puts. Okay. And this tells us basically that the market is saying the most, so to summarize what this would tell us is, it tells us that the most likely move implied by the market is a small up move, but the risk is to the downside. If we're going to see a big down move, it's going to be to the downside. Hey, Rob, what's going on? Janardan, let me know if you have any more questions about that, but that's the skew in short. It's a part of the volatility surface, right? It's a part of what options look like. So what were we going to chat about next here? STZ has earnings coming up tomorrow morning. We did a review on this Monday night, everyone. Broke it down pretty in depth, but let's see what it looks like today, right? When we're trading earnings, we're usually trading it the day of. We're not really buying it a day before or anything like that. We want to buy it right before the earnings event. Jekka can explain to you why we do that. It's 3 circles of vol. He knows them very, very well. What's up, Jekka? You missed a lot, man. We talked about Dave Portnoy's sex tape. God damn, you missed it. So, STZ earnings. Okay, sort of like what we were thinking on Monday, the move has come up a little bit. Right? Implied move on Monday was about 3.8%. It's now sitting at about 4%. Let's see what the stock's moved in the last couple of days. Okay, not really. Now, what we were looking at here at first and I think it's still a good idea, is maybe taking a small long vol play here. Right? When we look at the implied move for each earnings event for this company, we see that on the low end of it is about 3.9%, and we're sitting at 4% right now. We're pretty much right at the low end of what the market thinks this company does around earnings, right? Every earnings season, the market looks at the companies and says, here's what we think is going to happen around the stock, right? They look at all sorts of different information, all the analysts' recommendations, everything like that come into play here. And they come up with a forecast, and that's baked into the option price. So what we're trying to do as traders is say, do we agree or disagree with what the market is telling us? And in this situation, it might be a little on the cheap side, right? The reason I'm thinking that is market's implying a 4% move, and we see that on average, it implies more than this. It's usually implying about 5%. And when we look at how much this thing actually moves, let's pull up the moves here, we see that it usually has bigger moves than 4%. Now, in the last couple of events, it's had 2%, 2.5% moves. And that might be because, no surprising information came out. But if you think there's a chance that this stock surprises on earnings this time, it's looking pretty cheap to buy. Now, if we look at the straddle P&L here, we see that buying vol hasn't been great, right? In the last couple of years, it's been a losing play. So it does kind of make me think, maybe not, but the events just keep getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And so I'm thinking, you know what, maybe it's worth a little punt here. You buy a little bit of volatility. Now, when we're doing this, you need to keep in mind that the most likely outcome is actually that you lose, right? But what I'm also saying here is, if you do lose, it's not going to hurt too bad. And if you do win, you should win pretty big, right? That is just the nature of buying options, right? Buying volatility. Options have that risk premium baked into them, which means on average, you're going to be on the losing side, if you're buying the options. But when you can identify times where it looks a little cheap, it's not a bad idea to buy a little bit of volatility. Right? We can see here on the seasonal impact that stock usually moves quite a bit around the first quarter earnings. So it might be worth, or would this be second quarter now, I guess? April? Yeah, I guess it's second quarter. So we see here, it's actually a tighter range here, which is pretty cool. It's usually in and around the 4 or 5% mark. So it looks pretty, maybe slightly on the cheap side, maybe fair value. It's an okay opportunity to buy. So that is STZ earnings, right? So PENN, we can be looking at doing like a bull put spread. Watch how the skew changes throughout the day. If you can trade a short-term 132 fly, something like that, might be worth taking. Little bet to the upside, right? We want that positive delta exposure, and we want to take advantage of mispriced skew. STZ, we're looking at this here. It looks like you could really, depending on the way you like to play earnings, you could go short vol here too, just because of the nature of this P&L here. But I'm personally thinking it's an opportunity to buy a little bit of vol. Now, we're a little slim pickings for earnings right now, but things are going to pick up soon. Really excited for it. But those are the two trades we've gone over so far. If we have any questions about those, feel free to just drop it in the chat. More than happy to go over it again. But if not, I have one or two more companies that I want to take a quick look at here. Let's see. Also, quick shout out to some of the guys in the group here. Penny, if you're on the live, man, good stuff. He came up with his own trade idea on NNOX, put money behind it. Looks like it's printing, which I'm really happy to see. One of the things we're always trying to push for in PA here is creativity, right? Take the tools, start applying them to your own ideas. And I think that was an excellent example of it. And I'm just really glad it worked out for you. So congrats to you if you're on the call here. And a big shout out to Dan for chatting with Rob here about some of his earnings trades. So let's see here. What else do we have going on today? Snap and CCL are trending. Anyone know why? Oh man, Snap picked up. Snap was one of those stocks that I think we're talking about buying some vol on it. It was one of those long vol plays for a bit. Looks like it's been chopping around the last couple weeks. Look at this. Jeez. Pretty cool. And the actual level of implied volatility is picked up as well, I believe. Right, if we come here, we take a look at, let's look at the term structure over the last couple weeks for them. Right, we're looking at maybe the 30 days here. Yeah, so it's come up maybe 5 points or so. Did CCL have earnings? Yeah, it could have. It's breaking out to the upside, eh? Okay, yeah, it looks like it did have earnings. Okay, well, here, let's take a look at this. Let's go to CCL here. Just loading up. Having some lag here, guys. Just give it a second. My Chrome is out of date. Leave me alone, Rob. I really don't use this computer that much anymore because I'm usually just at my apartment. But I guess because I'm still back in my hometown right now, so I'm using my laptop. Okay, so bookings are up, stocks rallying. Well, let's take a look at this. Let's see what happens after these earnings usually. So it looks like a lot of the time, maybe not the last little bit, but we have had these post earnings announcement drift like a lot of the time. Is there that call skew right now? A little bit of call skew. So you could look at structuring like a 132 fly if you think it's going to keep trending up. Right? Makes sense. It's a popular stock. A lot of volume probably coming into the market right now. Let's see where we're at for the day so far. So compared to like an average volume that we see, I think we're on course to see more than usual volume, right? So the way that I'm pricing this is, or looking at the volume is, right? We're looking at April 7th here, right? Which is today. And we see that we already have a call volume of 13,000 and we're what, 1/8 into the day. And we usually see an average volume of maybe 50,000. So if we multiply that by 8, we're going to see a lot of excess volume in the market, right? We could see it, touching some of these peaks maybe over here. Snap is planning to push into online shopping through a new feature that will recommend clothing purchases based on photos uploaded to Snapchat. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know. I feel like consumer behavior on Snapchat's been pretty set in stone. I'm not sure how I feel about that, especially compared to things like Instagram shopping and stuff. I don't know if Snapchat's going to make it there. Like, Snapchat's one of those things. I feel like it's sort of like Clubhouse, where maybe it's just better as a feature of another app. You know what I mean? But right, CCL's got that little bit of call skew here, right? 5-point difference between the Delta 50s and Delta 25s. So you could go out, structure out a vertical, call 132 for the week if you think this thing's going to keep trending up. Doing like a call vertical or something maybe may not be a bad idea. Vol's looking a little on the cheap side right now, actually, especially for the big move that they just had. So if you think it's going to chop around, you could also buy some vol. There's a lot of different ideas you could do on these two companies right now. What's the vols on Snap looking like? I think they were a little different. It was looking a little on the pricey side. Right, vols were sitting at 78 with a forecast of just 70. The lag is real, guys. God damn. Oh, depressing. All right, you know what, Rob? You've convinced me. I'll update my browser. Come on, I can't be the only one that never updates anything. 30, 35, 37, $77 risk on CCL. What's the payoff there and the expiry? Is it this week's expiry? Probably get a good RR on that, man. Yeah, exactly, Harry. Updates are overrated. Okay, let's reload this. I can't believe how laggy this computer is. Guys, MacBook Air, negative EV. Don't ever buy a MacBook Air. I cheaped out. I should have got the Pro, but I got scammed. Well, it's Chrome without the tracking. Yeah, I've been hearing about Brave. Maybe I should pick that up. Remind me tomorrow, my favorite button. Exactly, right? I think I've been hitting that button for like 5 years at this point. Are we back now? Is my browser going to cooperate? Let us see. Are we back? We are back in business. All right, Snap. We got a couple more things to talk about here. Oh yeah. Okay, so like those, I heard about this Brave thing paying you in crypto. That usually sketches me out because that means they're probably doing something with your processing power to mine the crypto. I don't know. Kind of sketch. All right, we got that call skew here on Snap. We can take advantage of that. Bet on it going up if you think this thing's going to keep trending. If not, vols are starting to look a little pricey. It's not quite there yet to the point where I would sell it. If I were to sell anything, it would be these 20-day options, but do they have an earnings coming up? Yes, they do have an earnings coming up, right? The reason why we are seeing this little spike here on the 20-day tenor here is that earnings event, right? And we get confirmation of that by looking at the term structure down here, where we can see that there's a separation between non-event vol and implied vol, showing us that there is a earnings event being priced in here. Quick look at the earnings. We see that there's a pretty huge move being priced in, 12%. But man, this stock rips on earnings, eh? 18% average move. Holy. I don't know, Snapchat, you crazy. Let's see here, actually. Average implied move, 13.35%. Hey, maybe buy some vol now and see if the implied move increases going into the event. Right? Might not be a bad idea. It's ripping today. Vols aren't that high compared, implying a 3% a day move, ripped 6% today. If you think it'll happen again, you could pick up some long vol now on like the 20, 30-day options. And if it starts ripping more or the implied move increases going into the event, you're going to get paid. Not a bad idea either. Now, I'm usually not leaning long vol, so I won't be taking that trade myself, but it's not a terrible idea. And those are the ideas that I've really got for today, guys. Do you have any that you want me to take a look at with you? Do you have any trade ideas? What are you guys looking at today? I think the PENN one is pretty fun. STZ earnings looks decent as well. What are the guys chatting about in the group here? Nice. Everyone's still hodling GSX. That's so funny. Good stuff, guys. It honestly makes me so proud. It makes me so proud to see the PA guys diamond handsing it. Diamond hands with an edge. That's really what PA is all about. So I think the ARC-X ETF is dropping their options today as well. So perhaps later today or tomorrow, guys, we'll look at pricing them out. Could be pretty cool. ZNJ. Mr. Pink, do you mind telling me what your trade idea is for this stock? I'd be happy to take a look at it with you. Ape quants, exactly. Where banana? Where banana flow? Yeah, Cole, I bet they are really pricey. You know, we just don't want to just blindly go out and sell them, though. We want to do a little bit more digging. You have an $11 call for the May expiry. Okay. So vol looks a little cheap, right? If we take a look at the vol cone here, paying about what, 40 vol points, 30 vol, 40 vol points probably, 40 implied vol. Okay. Implying a little less here. Mr. Pink, why did you pick these up? Right, we can see volumes tapered off a lot recently. It looks like it went through a period where someone was freaking out here, buying a whole bunch of call options, but it looks like it's calmed down now, right? There's basically no volume here on a day-to-day basis, just a couple thousand contracts traded on the call side. We see that realized vol dropped off, right? We were seeing a lot of movement here, but now it's gone down. Implied vol hasn't come down at all, though. Last month, the stock is rallying pretty hard, right? Up probably 10 or 15%. Let's have a look at what's happened to the term structure in the last little bit. Take a quick look here. Oh, damn it. It's not going to happen. Yeah, we still got to update that little bit there, guys. So Mr. Pink, it's really hard for me to say if it's a good or a bad idea, right? You know, in the end of the day, you have to have your reason for thinking this thing is going to go up. You bought a call option, right? So there's two things that you want to have an opinion on here. You want to have an opinion on, to have this position, what direction you think the stock is going to go, and how much and how quickly you think the stock is going to move. Now, what I'm usually doing is I'm not trading just a call or a put. I'm usually either buying both or selling both, because it's actually, I find, a lot easier to forecast volatility rather than direction. I've just seen the work that goes into like being extremely, extremely good at direction. And, you know, I usually am just not doing that. But, you know, unless you think this thing is going to absolutely blow out to the upside, there's probably a better trade you could have put on, right? What price target do you have, for example? Because if we look here, right, on let's say the 10-day options, we have all this call skew we could take advantage of, right? We see that the skew here, it's pretty low. It's pretty low. There's some good call skew going on. If we come here, we look at the forward vols, right? We see the forward vols are at all-time lows for this, or are starting to come down a good bit. So we could maybe do something with volatility across time here, right? You know, it's just, you want to define your view as well as you can, what you think is going to happen to the stock, and then try to take advantage of the options to express it best. You know, buying an outright call, do you think this thing's going to get bought out? Do you think this thing is going to shoot to the moon? If so, buying the call, probably not the best way to express your view, or simply because there's probably a better way to do it, right? On tomorrow's live, I'll have access to my my brokerage account, right? I'm on my my PC or my MacBook Air here. If I opened up Thinkorswim, I literally think it would explode. So I can't do it right now, but I'll help you in the future structure out trades that I think might be a better fit for your view. So maybe what we can do is if you come to tomorrow's live and just share like ticker, price target, time frame, I can help you try and structure something out. Yeah, and if you're debating whether or not you should be holding this position still or not, there's a super easy way to figure it out without having to look at any numbers. Just ask yourself, if you didn't have it, would you buy it? If you wouldn't buy it now, well, you've kind of done that by holding it. So you should be closing it out if you wouldn't. So with that being said, everyone, this is the end of today's stream, right? It's 11 a.m. We're going to wrap it up here. But I just want to thank you all for coming out. If you don't mind dropping a little like on the video, that would be great. And if you haven't signed up for the PA free trial yet, make sure to send me an email to sean@predictingalpha.com to get on the free trial waitlist. It's going to be a complete free trial, access to our education, terminal, support. Be a full-fledged member. It'll be a 2-week free trial. So feel free to sign up on that waitlist there. We'll be sending out emails about it in the next week or so. All right, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. And feel free to leave a comment on this video if you have any questions. I'll be around to help. Take it easy.